Welcome to Indie Business Club, the podcast for independent creatives, freelancers, founders and business owners. He's Ben McKinney.
And she's Mel Barfield. And we're both copywriters and business owners sharing tips and advice we've picked up along the way. This episode is called Moving Pictures, and it's all about using video to promote your indie business. On the show, we'll discuss common reasons people are grossed out by using video, reasons to grin and bear recording yourself, and tips on equipment and tools to help you on your way. I've got to say that bit again. For some reason, it just does not roll off my tongue.
Okay.
On the show.
Yeah, that bit that you were about to start from that.
On the show, we'll discuss common reasons why people are grossed out by using video, reasons to grin and bear recording yourself, and tips on equipment and tools to help you on your way.
We've also got a voice note from an expert on today's theme, and my favourite bit, Your Friend and Mine, where we highlight a person in our network we think is great.
This episode is brought to you by our new Instagram page, channel, profile, handle. What do you call it? I don't know. I'm thrilled about it, and you can find us on the gram at Indie Business Club Pod.
And if you happen to be the owner of at Indie Business Club, the page that has 45 followers and one lonely post from 2 years ago, can we have a chat, please? Because we'd love to get your handle. Ben, video, discuss.
Yeah, I feel like I'm quite open to the idea of using video in marketing, but almost never do. So this is a good episode for me. I think I'm going to find it motivational.
Might set some goals.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with why people don't use it. Why might people hate using video?
Yeah, I've heard that word a lot actually, and I think it's probably it just down to
hate?
Nerves? Yeah, in terms of like the discussion of the idea of people using video.
Yeah.
I've heard people say, no, I just couldn't do it. I hate the idea of appearing on camera. I hate the idea of seeing myself or hearing my own voice. It must just be nerves, I suppose, mustn't it?
Yeah, or sometimes it'll be something specific. We've talked about teeth before, not on the podcast necessarily, but I had lots of... I've got a very British smile. I had two lots of very uncomfortable retainers for the American audience, of which there are actually quite a few. Hello, American audience, listeners, people. And so I had braces twice in a row, and then I had the option of a third lot of braces, and I just had enough. I'd had enough, so I didn't get them properly straightened. And for a long time, I wouldn't smile in pictures. I don't like people seeing my teeth. I don't like how they look. And then I just had a word with myself that everyone that meets me in real life will see them. So it's not like I can hide them forever. So I might as well just be happy with showing them on video. But yeah, everyone will have something that they like. Oh, look at my nose, or I don't like my voice, or I don't like this. So I completely get why people feel a bit exposed. And there's that built-in instinct to not expose ourselves. It's worked out well for us not standing out from the crowd over the hundreds of thousands of years of evolution. So I get why people don't want to be seen. The idea of being perceived by lots of people is like, ooh. But I think it can be a wonderful thing. And that, I think you've said this before, lots of other people's polished videos might put you off.
Yeah. It's so easy, I guess, to start and use video now, and it's probably easier than ever to make really polished, slick videos, isn't it, and put them out, that actually it might have the effect that if you see somebody doing it, you think, I just wouldn't make it that polished. Or perhaps more, if you try it and just quickly get out your phone and record yourself, to you the results seem so unpolished and so just not good enough that you then think, I would never share that. But there's a few ways. We're going to discuss some tips on how to get started, aren't we? And how to just go for it.
There's definitely charm in seeing people do a bit of an off the cuff, like homemade video. I don't think that necessarily puts people off. It depends on your audience, I guess. If you've got a really slick professional clientele, then you filming from a muddy field on a dog walk might not hit the same. I don't know. Everyone's human, though, aren't they?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, because I think that often the most memorable ones that I can remember, or the ones that I connect with the most from my feed, are people where they are just sat behind they're sat in their car or something, and they've propped up the phone on the steering wheel and have just started to say something, or they are out on a walk, something like that. And because then you've got it's going to go into like film school here, but if you're out on a walk, then you've got the kind of, your background becomes a part, is an almost little character in your video, isn't it? So yeah, I think I like those ones, and I prefer those to, I mean, I suppose there's a couple of different categories. I can think of the really, really professional ones, professional looking ones.
Incredible lighting.
Great lighting, probably scripted, and probably have done multiple takes to get it sounding just how they want it, or just right. I find those a bit like, I can't be bothered with this. They're always too long, those ones. I think that's probably worth mentioning.
They have loads of jump zooms and like slick editing as well.
And then, you kind of take that back to the really simple ones of people just pulling their phone out and recording themselves off the cuff. I think those ones definitely connect with me more. I'd rather watch a brief one like that than... And then you've got the really kind of ultra produced ones where people have gone into character and are doing something silly. I think they can work, but I've got to kind of be in the right mood for those, and I'm not always in the right mood to watch those kind of videos.
Well, lots of people love video. We've actually got some statistics. This is going to shock you, dear listener, that we've got some actual statistics. We've done some research on this one.
I thought you meant the statistics are going to shock people, but just the fact that we've got them.
The fact that we've done some light research. Apparently, 73% of consumers prefer to watch a short-form video to learn about a product or service. But it's worth noting that's not everyone. And Anne Storr said on LinkedIn, "I can't bear video, I scroll right on past." So I think it's like any kind of content. You don't want to be putting all your content eggs in one platform basket. I don't know where I'm going with this. You need to make sure that you have a mix, because for everyone that loves video, there'll be someone else who is absolutely disgusted by it like Anne, and who scrolls past and isn't interested. So I think having it in the mix is good. I also really like seeing how people, like when you just see people's feed on LinkedIn and it's pure text, like you might get one selfie every now and then. You don't actually get to see who the person is and hear their voice, and I just think that brings them to life so much if you can see a little bit of video. And I know not everyone likes doing it, but it really helps me if I see someone on a video on LinkedIn, and then when I meet them in real life, I'm way more likely to connect their name to their face. I find it really hard at events if I haven't already seen a bit of moving pictures of people.
Why is it important though? I think with this we need to kind of talk about what you get from video if you're going to do it, because I think more even than writing a post or putting a selfie up or doing a quick picture, it feels like a massive effort, certainly on my part. And actually in the past when I've done video, I've never done it consistently because it feels like, I mean, I'm not like the most prolific poster anyway, but I feel like I can write something quickly, and I could quickly think, I've got a thought, I can write something and put it out. Whereas with video, it feels much more like I'd have to think about. I don't think I'd feel comfortable just grabbing my phone and quickly recording something wherever I was and putting it out there. So, but why?
Well, that's where
why should I?
Editing comes in. We'll come on to editing in a bit. Why should you? Well, like I said, it shortens the gap, to use that phrase of mine that you definitely love. And
I do love that phrase. I think it's a really good one.
Well, we wang on about like the Bob Berg phrase as well. The know, like, and trust. So people are more likely to work with you if they know, like, and trust you. I think video is a really good way of building up that recognition, almost like your personal brand recognition. Sorry for saying those words in that order. It's gross, but it's true. People are more likely to remember you if they've seen a little video of you than just, as I say, this static photo and your name in tiny text next to it. That's not. It takes a lot. I think it's a shortcut. It's a shortcut to people recognising you and getting to know you and feel like they know you. And we've had we're on episode 31 now of the podcast. And we've had people come up to us and talk to us and say, I feel like I know you, because they've seen perhaps seen the videos that we put on YouTube, and they've heard us. And I think there's that's a large part of the benefit of video, is hearing people's voices. So it's great seeing them move and seeing them in not 3D, seeing them moving. But I think it's hearing their voice in your head as well really connects with people.
3D, that's a great idea. I think you should send that to LinkedIn. That's the next frontier.
I want some of those.
Maybe video will really
3D
take off.
Glasses, like LinkedIn branded 3D glasses. They send you out. I can't. Let's go off on a little side ramble. I can't see 3D stuff that easily. I can't see magic eye pictures because I've got astigmatism in one eye, so I've never been able to see magic eye pictures. And 3D stuff just kind of gives me a bit of a headache. Don't like it.
I was going to take the mick out of you, but then when you said the word stigmatism, I thought I better not. So
it's a medical condition, Ben.
I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that.
But yeah, I think the benefits are there. I've certainly felt more connected with people when I've seen video of them. I'm a big fan. It's
a good time to talk about LinkedIn, I suppose, because that's the platform that you and I are most on, even though we've now got our Indie Business Club Pod Instagram page.
What was that? What was the handle again? What was the handle again, Ben?
Indie Business Club Pod. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, good.
You normally say at the beginning, but
I
learning.
see, right.
It's a good effort.
So I'm learning about reels, is it? Is it reels and stories? Is that right?
What's the difference, Ben?
I still don't know that. I just know that there are those categories.
Which one's the thing that's only up for 24 hours? Can you remember?
Story.
Well done. I don't know if it's actually 24 hours. A day.
I've done a couple of those.
I've
done a couple of those for Indie Business Club.
What stories?
The 24-hour disappearing one.
Oh yeah, you did actually. Well done. I was very proud.
The most thrilling part of it is that you can put a song on. And so then for an episode announcement, I can put the actual song on, assuming it's on there. It might not be for this one.
What is this one, by the way?
This is Moving Pictures by The Cribs from,
The Cribs,
I don't know, probably early to mid-2000s. Not a massive hit by any means. But yes, we've started doing it on there. But on LinkedIn, which is the thing that we are most on, a few months ago, I don't even know how many months ago, it felt like video was absolutely pushed, and you're almost penalised for just doing text posts and not so much selfie posts, because we know that they're still popular picture posts. But yeah, like video was supposed to be the thing, wasn't it? There was a video feed, which was like
very short-lived
kind of YouTube Shorts or Instagram. Is that real? I can't remember. Or stories, whichever. But that's gone. Has it gone?
Yeah, well, you can still post videos, but there is no longer a dedicated... Well, I should caveat this with, at the time of recording, which is July, there is no video feed anymore. There used to be a dedicated video feed, and it's gone. You used to be able to scroll up, a bit like on Facebook. You won't know about that, Ben, because you've never been on Facebook.
It's the hill on which I'll die.
Yeah, well, that's fair. Don't think anyone's going to be fighting you on that one. You can just scroll mindlessly through video, a bit like on Instagram, actually, on the reels. And it just disappeared. It obviously was unpopular or cost them too much money, or there weren't enough creators putting video out. But it was massively pushed. And like every other post felt like it was like, videos, like don't sleep on video.
Yeah. And actually we both did a little test yesterday, didn't we, where we went on our respective LinkedIn feeds and scrolled to see how many videos showed up. And I think I scrolled, I mean, I can't tell you how many posts I scrolled through.
How many thumb swipes?
Yeah, I don't know, 10 thumb swipes. I think there was one video, and it was like a promoted post from a company. It wasn't an individual page, from a company page. So yeah, it seems like it was pushed over the last year, and then they've eased off it a bit.
Just gone real
and that's
quiet.
important if you're doing videos, because yeah, certainly over the last year or so, it felt like if you wanted to have your post pushed up the feed and seen by a lot of your connections, then actually doing a video post helped with that. Whereas now, certainly in the videos that I've done over the past, which is not many, but there's a few over the past couple of months, and they're
not doing any different to normal posts, I don't think.
Oh, less. They're different to normal posts. I get less reactions on them and engagement than I would do on a regular text post. The one thing I will say is that they stick around a bit longer. Yeah, it absolutely could.
No offence.
And the content. So this is why it's difficult to kind of discuss whether it is, how it performs, and obviously because it's subjective. But the one thing I will say is that it does tend to stick around. So even though I get fewer engagements, they probably, every now and then one will tick through like 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later. So it's obviously still being seen at some point. Whereas with text posts, I don't find that. I find that they have a 2 or 3 day kind of maximum reach, and then that's it.
The algorithm is all over the place at the moment anyway. So you can never rely on any one strategy. And again, that's, I think, why it's good to have a mix. Because there was one point in time where the legend was that pictures, like if you had a selfie with a post, it would do it extra well. And when we visited LinkedIn, Alicia there said that posts with 3 photos do especially well. And there's always, it seems to always be changing, like what the algorithm favours. So the way to get ahead of that, I guess, is to just keep having a mixture and keep experimenting and not be a slave to whatever they say is the latest thing, and just try and bring a mix in.
It is really disheartening though if you do a video, because like I said, it feels like it's more effort than just writing a post or having a picture and putting that up there. If you then do it and you obviously see how many impressions it's got, and for whatever that's worth, and you get 6 people like it and 200 people see it max, it feels a bit, it can feel like, don't want to do this again.
What was the point of that? Do you think that video favours extroverts?
Yeah, maybe. I think you've got to have that level of comfort of, you've got to have the level of comfort of recording yourself and then watching it back before you post it. So for some people that will be the end of it, because they'll
true.
make the first step of recording it back, but then it will be so uncomfortable watching themselves. And it's really hard to evaluate yourself, isn't it, when you do that? I don't know whether that comes down to ego or, maybe being an extrovert or just having the self-confidence to do it. One thing it made me think was your wonderful catchphrase is get over yourself and post, which you tell people to do all the time for LinkedIn. I wonder if that is true with video because of
definitely.
So with a text post, if you get over yourself and type out a text post with your brain to fingers kind of attitude.
Throwing in all my little catchphrases.
Well,
I'm so
proud.
But
if you do that and put it out there, you found great success in that, haven't you? And you found that that's connected you with lots of people because they've liked the way that you come across in those posts. I wonder if that translates as well to video because of the issue of kind of quality and sound. And it's probably easier just to throw out a text post where people don't see your face compared to whether throwing out a video post where it is really, you are exposed on there.
You're saying I'm better written down, aren't you? That's what you're saying.
Well, no, but it's interesting because I was just trying to think, and I was going to ask you a question, and it'll put you on the spot. But what was the last video post you did? Can you remember?
I think I posted a video. It will either be a little clip from one of these episodes, or I did make an on-purpose, intentional, actual.
That's
video.
what I mean. Sorry, yeah.
I did one of them to promote the fact that we were guests on the Marketing Meetup webinar, which is available online. We'll link to it in the show notes. So I did a little video to camera, holding a tiny microphone because I think they look funny, and also my microphone on my phone's terrible. We'll come on to audio in a bit because Ant will be very pleased with us mentioning this. So I had this little tiny microphone. I probably waved it around a bit too much, so the audio was actually still crap. But anyway, I made a little video to say, if you're a freelancer, founder, whatever, come and watch us. We're doing it this time then. So, and that actually performed quite well on Instagram, actually. I had a little notification to say it performed better than most of my other posts. But the way I did that was filmed it on my phone, edited it in TikTok. I did end up posting it on TikTok, but I edited it in TikTok and then downloaded the edited video, which is something you can do, which is quite handy. And then put it on Instagram.
And on LinkedIn?
I think so. But my LinkedIn reach has been rubbish recently.
Okay.
So I can't give you any stats on that.
I can't remember the last one I did. Oh, no, I did one of a storm. Sorry, I did. We had a big storm outside, and I took a video at like 1 a.m. and then posted it, and did okay, I suppose.
It's not Facebook,
Well,
Ben.
didn't have my face on it.
It didn't. I've just remembered something that LinkedIn also used to let you do. This is just me getting sad about the loss of features on LinkedIn. Actually, no, I don't miss the video feed, so that's not something I'm sad about. But you used to be able to open LinkedIn on your mobile app and record into LinkedIn, and that always performed better than recording and then uploading. But I don't think you can do that anymore. That's another thing they've taken away from us. So yeah, as I said earlier, you just got to try and keep a mix of content so that you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, or not spending a disproportionate amount of time meticulously editing and trying to do all the little zooming in and out and the captions and stuff. Do captions though. You don't want to be putting so much time and effort into it and then not getting any kind of return on investment. And actually we put our videos of episodes on YouTube. I'm a little bit behind in editing them and putting them up there because it takes ages. However, we will still keep doing it because it makes the podcast more accessible, even if we don't get tons of views, which we don't. It means that we've got somewhere, we're just slowly building that kind of bank of or library of resources for people. And it might be that we have one video that does really, really well, and then people go back and watch the previous stuff. I think it's part of building our authority in the space.
And we use things like magic clips, don't we? We record the podcast here in Riverside, and it'll snip little clips of us, and we're able to then, you're able to then pick out ones where we've made each other laugh, or where something funny's happened. And I'm always happy when we put those out online. I don't think you always have to have the attitude that if you put it out online like those, we're going to get massive amounts of engagement. It's just that it's exactly what you said before of just shortening that gap. So if somebody hasn't listened to the podcast before, they can see that we're just kind of like two people having a bit of a laugh, and hopefully that then encourages them maybe to take notice of it in the future or listen in. I know they don't do massive numbers on the thing, but I think it's important to get away from the idea that if you put something out there, you want it to be huge. It's just, I guess you kind of just got to have the attitude of post it and see what happens.
I think our approach has always been, with the podcast, has always been very much a slow and steady wins the race kind of. Let's just keep chipping away, putting stuff out there, experimenting. I think that's really important if you're going to start using video. Just experiment with it, and it will. You asked earlier about the get over yourself and post kind of concept of the more you do it, the more you get over that kind of feeling, and I think that's definitely true for video. So yeah, just try experimenting, try different types of video. I've got a little list here. Got this from an Adobe article. So you mentioned magic clips, so that's like a nice little byproduct. Well, it's not free because we pay for Riverside, but it's like a little extra bonus that we get when we record video. I then edit the videos for YouTube. I edit that within Riverside. Then I download it and put it onto Canva to add other bits. Just a little bit of backstage news there. But when you're thinking about creating video as part of your content plan, you could have explainer videos to build your credibility and your authority. Product demos are helpful, and they can drive traffic, especially if they're accompanied by lovely SEO-heavy captions. Customer testimonials, that's a way to provide the social proof. And it's much more authentic and believable if your client is on video saying, Ben did a really good job and he's great, than if you just quote the words on a bit of paper. It's much more believable. You can do interviews. You can have how-to videos, like I mentioned earlier about, YouTubing certain things. And I think sometimes we think people won't buy from us if we tell them how to do what we do. But actually, most people can't be bothered to do it. So if you do, like, say you're a copywriter, that's just the easiest example because we both are, and you did a little video on like, here's how I approach tone of voice work with a client. You can talk through that in a little like 90 minute. No, not 9. No, don't do my 90 minutes. That's no one's going to watch
it's
that.
It's the feature length version.
Don't do that. It's too long. Do you know what the problem with doing that is? That we found when we did our live episode, it's the file size. The video file size, if you go too long as well, is really hard to, like, I crashed my computer about 6 times. Anyway, back to what I was saying. If you can display your authority and knowledge about a subject with a little 90-second how-to video, that doesn't mean someone's going to go away and do it themselves. Most clients don't want to do that. They want to bring in an expert, but you're demonstrating with a how-to video, you're demonstrating your knowledge. And it can also demonstrate the time and work involved in whatever that task is, to make people realise, I thought I might do it myself, but ain't nobody got time for all that.
That's a really good point. Just on that, I think, because one of the questions I was going to ask was, do you think we're slightly reticent to do video because we're writers who actually, how are you going to show that in a video? Because I was thinking, I can imagine it being much easier for a graphic designer to show their process, or for a health practitioner, for example, to do something nice. And stuff. Dave Officer is a great example of kind of graphic design put on video in an incredibly dynamic and engaging way, which makes you want to work with him. But all sorts of different industries, perhaps in my mind, lend themselves more to video than maybe ours does. But actually, it's that little bit of thought outside the box, isn't it, in terms of how can I show it, and how can I show what it's like to work with me. It's very similar to the idea of a case study, isn't it? You're kind of showing people what their life will be like after they've worked with you, and with a video you're kind of showing them what their life will be like while they're working with you, and how easy it could be to work with you. But I wondered that, because quite often if I think, well, what are we going to do a video about working with this client, or writing a website for somebody, how can we show that in a video? It takes a little bit more thought, and it takes a little bit more intention, I guess. Maybe that's what puts people off. But our Voicenoted today has an interesting viewpoint on video, doesn't he, in terms of...
Oh, is that a smooth segue?
Just getting started. I think it could be a smooth segue.
Could it be a smooth segue? Well, our Voicenote has a smooth voice, so he deserves a smooth segue. That was extra smooth, sorry. Too smooth. Would you like to introduce him, Ben?
Yeah, sure. Today's voice note is from Jonny Rose. Jonny runs The Story Club, where he helps B2B founders get confident on camera and turn that into consistent content that actually builds their business. You can find him on LinkedIn. We'll link to him in the show notes. And here's what he had to say on using video.
Hi, Mel and Ben. My number one tip for people who want to use video to market themselves is to pause this right now, whip out their phone and just speak to the camera for 30 to 60 seconds, and bam, you've actually done your first video. But for something else, which is maybe a bit more practical, my key recommendation, it's not a tip, it's not a trick, all that information is online. Really, it's get an accountability buddy. You're indie business owners, you know other people who probably want to do video. You've probably sat down and had conversations being like, I want to do my first video. Maybe it was last year, maybe it was 2 years ago. But if you find somebody who is in the same position as you and wants to be doing videos, maybe you can book in a day together, maybe they're not nearby, but in some way, hold each other accountable and start getting your first videos out. That is the key thing. The majority of people need accountability to get videos out there. You have the tools, a mobile, a camera, probably a nice window to get some daylight. So just get somebody to push you.
Thank you for that, Jonny. As Ben said, we'll link to Jonny's LinkedIn page in the show notes. Go and follow him, because he does really good little explainer videos and tips and how-tos. So he's a great person to follow for inspiration. And as you said, good to have an accountability buddy. Someone that'll go, come on, look, we're doing this together. I will if you will. Let's both get over the cringe together. And yes, and I like the idea of doing it in person if you possibly can. That sounds great fun. Then you can share the hassle of getting your lighting sorted.
And in the first part of the message, he did obviously mention things like light from a natural light from a window, but also it was just a case of kind of what we've said, which is get your phone out and record yourself speaking. Just do it and see what happens.
Just do it. It sounds easy, doesn't it, Ben? I'm glad that you think it sounds easy, because I actually had this from Jonny as well.
And Ben, some nice and easy homework for you. All I ask is that you create a video for the podcast promoting it. You can feel generous. You can make it 50-50 you and Mel. Or if you want to get back at Mel for this, you can make it 80 her, 20 you. But yeah, you have to create a video and get it up on Instagram to promote the podcast.
Jonny set you a little bit of homework. How do you feel about that?
Did Jonny set me that homework, or...? I
might have suggested that he set you that. He gave us a 2 for 1. Thanks, Johnny.
Challenge accepted, Johnny. Thank you for that. Yeah, I will. No, I will do it. And I think
I will keep you accountable as well.
Yeah, that's what I was
your
just going to say. I
accountability
think we've kept ourselves accountable for the podcast. We've kept ourselves accountable. We kind of, when we work together as well, we don't always work together on the podcast, do we? We keep ourselves accountable on kind of other bits and bobs and work that we're doing, checking in that way. And I think it's probably...
It's the key to our success, isn't it?
Yeah, because I don't feel the cringe of doing video because we do this so much now. You know, we are looking at ourselves on camera all the time when we're recording. It's funny because I think back to during the pandemic, I started trying to do a little bit of video, and I really overcomplicated it. So when my son was born, I bought quite a nice camera, and which you can record good quality video on as well as obviously taking nice pictures. And I got a little tripod and I set it up in the office where I am now, and tried to kind of script out what I might record. And I never put any of those out because not only was it
Are they still there somewhere in the archives? Ooh, I think you should release some.
I might have put one out, but I recorded 2 or 3, and they were just. I was like, it wasn't a cringe. It was just they just don't sound like me.
This just isn't very good.
Yes, exactly. I think because I tried to script them out a bit. Actually, when it came to it, I didn't, I hadn't learned the script off by heart. I'd written it out and then was like, okay, I'll use it as some pointers. And it just didn't quite come out right and sound like me. So I might have put one out. I might not. I tell you what I did. I remember it now. I turned one of them into like a GIF of me doing a clapperboard thing and then trying to start talking and then getting annoyed and turning it off. And I made that into a little kind of GIF reel, which I think I put out on either Twitter or LinkedIn. I'll find that one. But the others didn't come out. The things that I did do coming out of the pandemic was when I was sat in my van for work, I did 2 or 3 videos, I think. And one of them was the most successful post I'd put out on LinkedIn. And that one I didn't script. I just said kind of off the cuff.
Videos from the van.
They were hashtag videos from the van. Thank you, Mel. The second one didn't do as well because I tried to write it out and make it a little bit funny. And it just didn't work.
Johnny's a fan of scripting stuff, but he does work with more professional people than us. But I find whenever I try and I like to have like some bullet points of what I know I'm going to say. This is like me when I give talks. Actually, I never want to over script it because then I do think you lose just something.
Like naturalness.
Yeah, and you can always edit. You can edit out if you mess it up. Then just like we've done this several times on this recording. Stop and kill that bit. Though you're the one that'll have to kill it if you're editing a video of yourself. You just stop and you start again, and then you don't have to stop the recording. Just keep recording, and then you might have some nice bloopers in there that you can cut into a little blooper reel. But yeah, just restart because you can always edit. You can edit to your heart's content. Ben, just on video, should we run through some practical little tips? So the first one I want to give is about subtitles. Please put subtitles on your videos because it's essential for accessibility, but it's also, now accounts vary on this. There's loads of different stats out there. The lowest stat that I've seen is 50%. So at least 50% of people watch videos without the sound on.
I do.
Yeah, I do it. Yeah, anyone who's got a sleeping child in the house or is doom scrolling while their partner's asleep next to them will have experienced the joy of watching a video with the sound off. So just bear that in mind and make sure that you're making your videos as accessible as possible to everyone.
I think I start them off with that sound because I'm almost looking to see whether they're worth then opening up fully and watching with the sound. So if they don't have...
they don't grab you with the...
No, if they don't have the subtitles on, then I probably will scroll past it. I won't necessarily open it and look at it. Whereas if it's got the subtitles on and it's like, oh yeah, I'm interested, then I'll open it. So without them, I quite often would just scroll past and I've probably missed loads of good stuff. But that's obviously important for accessibility, but also for that too.
Yeah. And then orientation. Content tends to be shot in portrait mode nowadays, not landscape, unless you're filming for something for YouTube. And I've mentioned editing. We edit in Riverside, then switch to Canva. You've got CapCut, check the terms and conditions, though. They've changed recently. Clipchamp, TikTok,
What do you mean by
as I
that?
said.
Just expand on that, please. What do you mean by that?
I think, well, I don't want to say in case I'm completely wrong. I think there's something to do with them. Their terms of use have changed, so that they own the content once you've uploaded it or something like that. Just check the terms and conditions. Which leads me to TikTok, which I know some people hate, but you can download edited videos on there. Instagram also has its own video editing app now that's called Edits, I think it's called.
How do they come up with these names?
I know. And I think that lets you upload a teleprompter, which might be the way forward if you don't like the idea of being scripted, but you do need, you need it, and you can't quite memorize it. Then actually having, even if you just have a few notes kind of scrolling on the screen to remind you what to say, that must probably be quite useful. And length, most people, 73%, believe that videos between 30 seconds and 2 minutes are the most effective. Mm-hmm. And let's go to audio, because we promised Ant we would
Yes, producer Ant has had a lot to say about audio quality, didn't he?
He did.
I think worth mentioning as well. I think
absolutely, and I agree with him.
I agree with him as well. Like one of his comments was, people will forgive bad video quality. So if you're just on your phone and you kind of you're moving around, but not bad audio. And I think that is true. If I'm watching a video and it's the sound is kind of windy or out and about, or you can hardly hear the person, that it definitely would make me kind of scroll away or not watch it. I think out of that list, editing is the one I think would be the biggest obstacle to me. So subtitles, no problem, because most platforms will do that automatically now. Orientation, again, that's fine if you're just recording a video for social media, you're probably just doing it on your phone up in front of you.
And actually, friend of the show, Ange Lyons, will always go portrait when people are taking photos and things, because of the Instagram needs
what.
So if you're taking a photo as well, portrait is the way.
That's when your phone is in its kind of upright, natural position that you would use it with, yeah?
Your phone is in its natural state, yes.
As opposed to the landscape where you turn it on its side and have the wider.
And it has
wider
when
picture.
you make your phone have a little lie down.
Yeah.
That's all. That's landscape.
But then length as well.
Remember, I think actually, Ben, is the landscape begins with an L, and so does lying down. So when your phone's lying down, it's landscape. There you go. Top hacks.
Thank you. Yeah. Length. I think most people would try and record a short video rather than kind of wanging on for a 5 to 10 minute epic, and then. Audio could be a difficult one as well, because a lot of people wouldn't have necessarily a little microphone. They'll just be recording into the microphone.
But
very most
cheap,
are good.
They
are cheap, and most phones are reasonable quality. So if you're not outside, if you're inside, then you should probably get a good audio. But editing is the one, because I think I would find it. It's not even that it would be difficult. It's the time consumption. To then think I've done the good thing by recording something. It's not 100% perfect, but actually I could go into any of these things that I've never heard of, and other than Canva, I've heard of Canva, and try and kind of polish it up a little bit. I don't think I would allow the time to do that.
I wonder.
But there's something about just putting it out, though, isn't there? And putting out the ums and the ahs and the little fails and the little asides and whatnot. I think there's something for that. I used one when I did the videos from the van. I used, I think, from Apple. I can't remember if it was called Clips, maybe it's one of the native Apple apps on my iPad, and with that one you could put in the subtitles and all that kind of thing, and you could trim little bits off. So I used to make some of it in black and white and some of it in other ones. One was like a comic book theme,
it's interesting, because it
I allowed myself
you can use technology and editing software. So
that's what I say. It's the
part
time.
Of your challenge from Jonny will be that you have to edit it as well.
It's the time. So I'll have to actually plan out the time to do it, as opposed to just. This is the difference, isn't it, from just going brain to fingers and writing a post and putting it out there, where you self-edit as you go and just throw it out, to actually thinking I want to put something out which looks good and which runs through smoothly and doesn't have the big balls up in the middle that I made. It takes it away. So I think out of those list of practical tips, editing's the one.
Yeah.
But some quick wins, like Jonny said, a quick win for a video, like Jonny said, a 30 to 60 second intro video about yourself, who you are, who you help, what you're doing, how you can get in touch with you. That can be, that should be a good first.
And then you can just recycle that Just post it again every 3 months. Stick it out there. Just remind people what you look like and what you sound like. I think many listeners will have a graveyard of good intentions in their phone. There'll be loads of videos that people have like, oh, I'll just take a quick video and then and I do this when I go to events. I'll be like, I'm definitely going to do like a join me as I go to insert event title here, and then I just never end up clipping them all together because I can't be bothered.
I've got two. I've got two of us. I've got So I bought a GoPro about a year and a half ago, partly for business use, partly for kind of
definitely for business use. Accountant.
100%. It's 100% for business use.
Good save.
But I've taken it to loads of events that we've been at over the past 18 months. You came to Norwich. We did a co-working day together while we were planning the podcast.
I filmed you getting off the train.
I filmed myself in the morning because I got up early to come and meet you off the train. So I filmed myself in the morning, having breakfast, kind of getting ready, leaving the house, driving to the station, meeting you off the train, and then us going to the co-working space where we were working. I've never done anything with it.
Release the tapes.
Recently, we visited LinkedIn, which we've written about in our email newsletter.
We'll never stop talking about
you
that.
can subscribe to at indiebusinessclub.substack.com.
Smooth.
And the GoPro does a lot of that editing. So even me just saying editing now, I'm going to completely do a little backflip. The GoPro does a lot of the editing for you. So I took a bunch of little video clips. I took a bunch of pictures on the GoPro, and then on the iPhone app, I'm sure there's another one. Android
apps exist. Yeah.
And kill that bit. Sorry, I shouldn't have stopped myself. And then on the iPhone app, it will kind of stitch them together into a nice, just under 90-second video. I think you can choose the length. So I did one for our visit to LinkedIn, and I did another one. I think it was either the following day when we went and we did a little event that we haven't spoken about, that we will do at some point. But so I've got these two videos that are kind of almost ready to go, and it's still a case of I haven't put them out yet, and it's not because I'm shy about it.
I've seen them. I think maybe they could be finessed with the editing.
Oh.
Just sorry, but
right. Forget I said anything, listener. Not.
Check the length. Sorry, Ben. Anyway, let's do my favourite part of the show. Do you want to do it?
It's your friend and mine. And today's friend of the show is Craig Williams. Craig is a graphic designer who does box fresh designs that deliver excellence for events. And Mel loves Craig's LinkedIn profile. Tell us about it.
I was so excited. Yeah, and he's also, let me just say, he's also a great supporter of the show. So thank you, Craig. When I went to his profile to get the link, I was thrilled to see that he's laid out his bio with song title references as subheadings. So he is one of us. So go and have a look and connect with him while you're there. We'll put his LinkedIn in the show notes. It's Craig B. Williams. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you, Craig. You're today's friend of the show. So Mel, I was going to say for this kind of little wrap up bit, are we going to commit to doing more video? But it sounds like I just need to commit to doing better video. You're not gonna
let me forget that, are you? You're gonna be all salty about it. Look, I'm just saying that, like, we are millennials, and have you heard of something called the millennial pause? Do you know what that is?
I mean, you've mentioned it a few times. It's where
you don't just hurry up and start talking. So you have a pause at the beginning of videos.
I'm an auteur. I wanted to build the ambience and build the drama. I will try and do better. I promise. That'll do for today. That'll do for today.
That'll do for today, and maybe forever.
If you're enjoying the show, there are a few ways you can support us. We'd love it if you could go onto social media and record a short video about one thing you've taken away from this week's episode. That is a big ask, isn't it?
That was very loud.
Don't forget to tag us if you do on Instagram at Indie Business Club Pod.
Mm-hmm. Please like, subscribe and review the podcast wherever you're listening, and get our emails at indiebusinessclub.substack.com.
And you can buy us a coffee with a £3 contribution at ko-fi.com/indie business club. Every penny goes to help us make the show.
Thanks for listening.
Mel. Cheers. Bye.
Ben. Aww. You do video great. Bye.
Bye.